Shalom and welcome back to the Rabbi Avi Show. Today we are bridging the distance between the Sonoran Desert of Arizona and the Negev Desert of Israel. But before we dive into today's conversation, I want to take a moment to thank you for being a part of this community. This show is a labor of love, but it's also part of a larger mission at Horizontal Media to provide deep, nuanced perspectives on Jewish life and thought. If you find value in these conversations, please consider supporting our work at patreon.com/horizontal media. Your contributions allow us to keep producing high quality content and sharing these vital stories. My guest today is someone many of you in Tucson remember fondly. Eden Achituv, along with her husband Netanel and their young boys, served as shlichim, emissaries, at the Tucson Hebrew Academy. They brought the soul of Israel to our desert, and today, Eden joins us from her home in Retamim, a small community near Be'er Sheva. We're going to talk about what it's like to raise 4 boys in the ring of fire, and how a community finds the strength to plant trees and to build lookout points even after they've been burned. Eden, it is a true zechut, a privilege to have you back with us.
תודה רבה, thank you, I'm glad to be here.
And you're joining us all the way from the southern part of Israel, from the Negev, and there's a time difference. I'm here in the west coast of the United States, and so for me it's morning, you it's nighttime. But tell our listeners all about yourself, please.
Okay, so as I said, it's a pleasure to be here. It gives me lots of memories from years ago in Tucson, and yeah, I'm in Israel now. I'm Eden, turned 40 not so long ago. I'm a mother for 4 boys, Alon, Mayan, Yogev, and Barry. Married to Netanel. Has a career in education and now is an architect. And I'm working with the early childhood. I'm guiding staff and parents over years, from newborn to 3 years old. It's a pleasure to be here.
Really appreciate your time, and especially with everything going on in the world, everything going on in the Middle East. We have so many questions for you, so we'll just jump right into it. Eden, when you think back to your time teaching here, because you were here in the desert of Tucson, how does that experience in Chutz La'aretz, in the diaspora, inform the way you view your life now? And does it make the why of living in Israel clearer? Is it clearer to you why you live in Israel now from that experience?
Yeah, for sure. First of all, the experience of being shlicha began when I was 18, and I did my national service in Israel for 2 years. It's the other option of either being in the army or doing a national service in different places, different jobs. So for the second year of this service, I went as a shlicha to Chicago, to the Jewish Day School there. And that was the first time I met mamash, the Jewish community out of Israel. And we always say here that at the first you meet it, you know it. It's for life. Like you can't believe it, because the experience of being with a Jewish community out of Israel, it's so excited, and it gives so much meaningful to our life as a we live in Israel. I born and raised here. It wasn't something special for me, but at the moment you meet people who give so many effort, money, time, I don't know, so many choices. You can tell just to live a Jewish life and to get a strong experience of Judaism and Zionists. So I appreciate it more, and especially after the 2 years in Tucson, uh, there I was married with 2 kids. I was a mother. Um, it was special. It gave me also the appreciation of living in Israel, and also the shlichut, the meaningful we have to feel mamash as a family, as a one big family.
And for our listeners, you're speaking of shlichut and as a shlicha, and that's really talking about your role as an emissary, representing the state of Israel, having a connection from one Jewish group to another Jewish group. It's a really powerful role that you've had. And I got to say that you and your husband Netanel were very, very successful in your role. You had a huge impact on us who live here in the United States, especially in the Sonoran Desert. And now that you're back in the Negev Desert, um, what's it like for you to be back in Israel?
First of all, Rabbi Avi, I have to say that in the past we used to think that the people who live in Israel, when they come as a shlichim or whatever to the state, they give from this they give to other. But the truth is that the it's back and forth. I mean, we get a lot from you, from the people there who how do I say it? Like keep the burning the burning
Keep the flame alive.
can ממש ככה, and you know how many meaningful experience we had in your community, and how it's built us mamash as a family. It's built me as a mother, as a person. So זה ממש back and forth. זה ממש um, for the two directions.
Yeah, it's really a give and take, isn't it? It
Give
works
and
both
take.
ways.
Mm-hmm.
I came and I visited you last time I was in Israel very briefly. What a pleasure to see where you live and what a beautiful community it is really in the middle of the desert. Um,
Fun.
and but there's so much life. People think of deserts as a place that's kind of void of life. Not a lot of plants, not a lot of and they think there's not a lot growing, but there's a lot there.
I wanted to say that in the past 3 years, we see the Negev alive, not only with the meaning of trees and grass that growing. It's the human being that lives here and support for example, in our community, I live in Retamim, and in our community we have like 150 families. And in the past 2.5 years, we had 90% men that do the reserve service, go to Miluim, and you cannot. It cannot be happened without the support of the community, with helping, teenagers, helping little kids, and making meals for the women, for the families. The support of the people who live here was so meaningful and so helpful at the critical time that we still have. It's complicated because from one hand, people go to work here in Israel, kids go to school, we're raising children, we're celebrating holidays and families time. But in the other hand, we all have the feeling that something can happen every moment.
Most of the men were called back to reserve duty in your community in Retamim. How did the families how did they support each other and how did they cope with that?
First of all, I think it's the feeling that we're all in the same boat, but also in a formal way, like the community. We have Sevet, like a bunch of people who care about who manage all the volunteer in the issue. For example, if someone needs help with shopping, babysitting, with making meals for dinner. It's unbelievable what happened here. I think it's an example or a place to learn from. I hope only in the good times and not in the war times. But yeah, it's just amazing how it's worked. And I have to say, a month ago, at the moment the attack started, I was serving at the rescue unit, the Israeli search and rescue unit. They need to be there and go from place to place who got damaged and got the rocket at the time. It's just happened immediately in a moment. It's so funny because we got the siren, the first siren, and it was early in the morning. We woke up like, okay, what's going on? What's happening? And it's very automatically you take the kids, you raise them to the mamad, to the safe room, and then I see Netanel getting ready, wear his madim, and I was like, all right, you have to leave. Like, he didn't connect the 1 + 1 equal
Wow.
2. It's like he didn't do
It
it
was so
in my
fast, so
mind.
fast.
So fast. And yeah, and it's in a moment you're like, okay, I'm a mother for 4. uh that's the way it is. Let's start. And it doesn't end until now. Actually, we all ready for a call. But I have to say that I'm telling you about a little bit about the situation and the stress we had, and the, each one of our family, each our kids and me and Netanel, of course, getting we a little bit changed in that time. I mean, everything is איך אומרים? So gentle in our life.
Became not gentle very quickly, but it sounds like you were able to pivot. You were able to just change and respond to what was needed in that moment, and not just in the moment, but for many months, not just for your
Hmm.
family, but for the whole community, which is really
Yeah.
inspirational. I kind of want to switch gears for a moment here because there is a slanderous lie that is going on all over the world right now, being said that Israel is a European colony. And by the way, I want to just make sure our listeners understand that Israeli Jews who came to the Holy Land after being exiled in Europe do not share the same DNA even as Europeans. They instead have a Middle Eastern DNA, and that can be checked and identified. Nevertheless, Eden, your family's story is the true story of the majority of Israelis. Your roots, your family roots are North African and Middle Eastern. Can you tell our
Hmm.
listeners about your family's exile from those lands, and what does it mean to you to call yourself indigenous, as I like to say, indigenous, which is part of Amim Yelidiyim to the land of Israel?
There's so many lies walking around. I mean, at that time, because especially in the time of a war, it's easy to say and blame and all this. So yeah, you're right. My family and Netanel's family are actually not from Europe. The roots is from Morocco and Tunisia and Syria. Actually, 5 generation back. And my dad, for example, he did Aliyah to Israel when he was bar mitzvah, and and he and his family lived here the whole time. What we believe in is years ago. I mean, we have the Torah, the Tanakh, we have Avraham Avinu. We feel like we're continuing the same story. We're part of this old um story, and I think it's the situation in Israel, it's complicated. I mean, especially now, especially around the world, and I'm interested how you feel it in as a Jewish people in out of Israel. I mean, it's not only in Israel; it's all over. And um, as you said, it's not. The truth is that we from all over the world, from South Africa, from Europe, Jewish people felt the connection to the Holy Land, um, to our avotenu veimotenu, and lots of them back to Israel went through hard times. My dad, איך אומרים, נלחם. My dad was a soldier in a Yom Kippur war, and they gave what they have for this land, for this for Israel. And we continuing this, I have to say, and that at the hard time, and at the amazing time, because there's so many miracles that are happening in the past 2.5 years. We feel like it's another chapter in the same story, in the same book. You read few months ago we had Purim, and you read the Megillah, and it's just exactly what happening here. I don't even.
Repeating itself. The history is just repeating itself.
Yeah, and the zchut to be part of this history chapter of this book, mamash, to feel it every single moment. I think this is the only fact that give us the koach, the resilience, the hope. You said about people that say that the Jewish people in Israel they need to turn to Europe and not on the same not from the same roots. This is I can't even understand it. It's like the opposite is the true.
Yeah, and it's become so accepted. I mean, I really want all of our listeners to understand there were 850,000 Jews who came to Israel, and most of them lost everything. And I'm talking about Middle Eastern and North African Jewry. They lost their homes. They lost all of their possessions. They were really refugees with nothing. They came many times with one suitcase or the shirt on their back, came to the land of Israel, and none of them want to go back to Syria, to Tunisia, to Morocco, to Turkey, to Iraq, Egypt. There's almost no, and there are no Jews left in those countries. There's almost no Jews left in almost every single Muslim country where they came from. And these are Jewish people who have a strong connection to the ancient land of Israel, never gave up that connection, lost everything in the diaspora, and came back. And I will say that our European brothers and sisters are oftentimes coming to Israel with very similar stories as well. So these are not a group of colonizers coming to create a imperial country and to colonize the world. Rather, these are victims of Muslim conquest. They have been colonized in Islamic countries. They've been the victim of that. They came to Israel, back to their homeland in a miraculous way, and have rebuilt the country. And look at Israel today, and then even as still being threatened by war as we speak. Actually, I mean, there's fighting going on right now in Lebanon. We don't know whether the war is going to open up. There's still some fighting in Gaza, and at any moment there could be war with Iran. And
You're so right. I mean, I'm hear you talking, and I'm so used to it. But every year we celebrate my dad's birthday, but actually no one really know when he born. Like they didn't have the human rights as a when they lived there in Morocco. And right now, for example, his village he used to live with all his childhood memory. There's no Jews there at all. Um, yeah, it's all like it's a Muslim place. Um, they couldn't stay there. He tells us how they waited every day for news that they can move to Israel, because it couldn't, it just couldn't happen. Wherever they go, it was they lived in a scare, in a
They were
fear.
afraid.
They were afraid, and at the moment they moved to Israel, you say they came with nothing. They didn't. Um, it, I mean, Ben Gurion at that time got the idea of bringing lots of Jewish people to Israel. It's amazing, but sometimes my dad say our country Israel didn't have the tools, the way how to help them. They just came and okay, now get along and go to work and raise money and start your life. And uh, s- especially because of that, I think because of the connection to the Holy Land, because of the will to be here, uh, they didn't care of nothing. They were here. They felt safe. They, as I say, they served their army sometimes without even finish the high school. I mean, my dad is an example of a smart, amazing man who didn't get education as well for studying his life. And Toda Lael, all of his 4 children live in a different, totally different conditions. Baruch Hashem, but it's something. It's amazing. It's not זה לא מובן מאליו. You can't take it for great.
For
How do you
granted. And I feel
for
like it's
granted?
something that, we Jews, we don't talk about this. We don't like to talk about the suffering of our parents, of our grandparents, of the people that came before us. We don't like to talk about how awful it was in Eastern Europe or in Morocco or in Syria, or, these difficult time periods that our people live through, because what we're focused on is Baruch Hashem, as you said, Toda La'el. Now our people are in our native homeland and we are doing
Mm-hmm.
miraculous things, and we're not focused on the pain and suffering that was imposed upon us and all of the tragedy. We're trying to move
That's true.
forward and create a new chapter, aren't we? And I think it's important, unfortunately, it's important for us to go back and revisit it and talk about it, because our enemies are saying lies and saying that we are coming to Israel to colonize and to create some sort of an empire, and to
Mm-hmm.
um and to kind of destroy the world, and that we came from a position of power, when the truth of the matter is our people came with nothing, absolutely nothing, and immediately were attacked by hostile people who wanted to throw us into the Mediterranean. And so I think your story and your husband's story, and look at your beautiful children that you have, and so many, and the majority of Israelis, is a story of miracles, of coming from a place of exile, second-class citizenship, suffering. Sometimes some years were better, some years were worse, but in the end, um, when you go back to the time period around 1950 in the Arab and Muslim world, the Jews were stripped of whatever rights they had as second-class citizens in Morocco, in Tunisia, in Libya, Egypt, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, so many other places. They lost Yemen. They lost what little they had, and they had no choice, and they were happy to leave their houses behind, have people come and just steal their possessions, take their homes, and come to Israel and build a new life And it was hard for the Jews because not all of the not all of our people in Klal Yisrael were familiar with each other. We didn't know people from Russia didn't know what Jews were like from Morocco, and there were disagreements, and it was hard. And look at what we've done. But I think it's important for us to talk about where we came from and now how it's being used against us.
They came with nothing, but they came with the only thing that this is their homeland. This is the place to live. This is the place to raise children, to live their life. And I think it's not a lot, but it's so much. And you're right. We're looking forward. We have to thank the people, our parents and our grandparents. And still we're looking forward because we have tafkid. We didn't finish it. Me and my children, we have a lot to do here. We have a lot to change and make this place a better place. It's complicated in Israel. Not all the people think the same way. It's yeah, there's diverse and with opinions about politics about everything. Even in a wartime, when people from all over the country that think differently and live differently meet each other in the army, for example, and go to the same matara, the same goal, and in a moment they all am echad, they all one uh,
One people.
one people. Uh, Even in the war, you can hear how hard is it sometimes to when you not agree, when you don't see the life in the same way. But I think this is our way. This is it's our something we need to go through, and you can see all over the country with I mean, you can see and you can hear stories about amazing people that we lost in the war, and the only meant the message they give us is, let's not think about what we're not agree. Let's combine ourselves with the same matara, with the same
The same
mission. Is
aims, the same
this
goals, yes.
Yeah, to live here and together and be strong together. It's hard in the reality. It's sometimes hard, but it's always there in my mind, at least.
You have such a incredible disposition and perspective, and you live in, as you said, 150 families. You live in a small community in the Negev. Why was it important for you to plant your roots specifically in the Negev, even knowing the security challenges that come with it?
It's a good question. Not for today, for every day. When you wake up in the morning and you say, "Okay, I choose to be here in the Negev, in Israel." Yeah, you're right. It's. First of all, I'll say that me and Netanel met as a tour guide. We were a tour guide in a project for teenagers in Israel. It calls Masa Israeli, the Israeli journey. It was alternative, not instead, but because we have in high school, teenagers go to Poland and hear about the Holocaust and see the places and feel it. So the alternative is the, it was like, let's do the journey here in Israel. Let's walk in the Negev like Avraham Avinu. Let's go to Jerusalem and get the Israeli Jewish experience. And from the first moment, we loved the Negev. As you said before, the desert seems like nothing happening, but actually there's a lot that happening. And this year is a special year that I don't want to do a mistake, but many, many years we didn't have so many so many water, like rain and shitfonot, floods. Yeah, so special. We're walking around, we're traveling, and you see the green and the flowers growing as like you never see before. So it's mamash zchut for us to be here at that time. And yeah, the Negev is as I mentioned, Ben Gurion before, is a promise to grow and flourish, and we want to be part of it. We love hiking and traveling around. So the quiet place like the desert is the perfect place for us, and we feel like peace. We feel part of the chazon, the hope of Ben Gurion that about the Negev. So and it's not easy all the time. I have to say that 2 months ago, with all the war that's going on in Israel, up in the north, Gaza Strip, of course, and Iran, we also got a gift. I say it not a really gift, but from our neighbors. We live very close to a village called Bir Adaj of Bedouin people. Not a small village. Actually, during the years, we always trying to be to get connect to them. Invite them for our holidays. Go to their for their holidays. Me, for example, I worked there as a madricha, as a guide in the early childhood daycare, and it was amazing experience for me. I invited one day I invited all the teachers to my house, and we had
Wow.
makluba for dinner. It's a special connection between cultures and different people, and this is great. But sometimes it goes to different ways, and unfortunately, at that night 2 months ago, they said they burned our mitzpeh. There's
Like a lookout area?
it's a lookout area, a lookout place that we have here, and they burn it from their reasons, and it's interesting because I remember that day Netanel was in Miluim in
Reserves.
reserves. Thank you. And I remember the feeling of, okay, I have to get my kids in the house, lock the door. Something not safe is going on here, and I don't used to it because usually, we can go to work and leave the house open. So it's big different for us. And the moment after, all the teenagers in Retamim, I mean, from 13 to 18 years old, they went outside with adults, of course, that they were with them, and rebuild the place. They worked for 3 weeks. From that night, they worked for 3 weeks and made a nice road from the mitzpeh, from this place, the view place, around the yeshuv, and with benches, and they plant trees and they worked so hard for that, and it became such a, I mean, me'az yatsa matok, from something bad and scary and sad, it became activity of, I don't have words to
Positivity,
say
really.
it. Yeah.
It really they took a negative and really made it a positive. say I'm kind of struck in a good way by what you were saying before that, like the relationship that the Jews and your development and your area where you live were have tried to and many times successfully reach out to Arab, Muslim, Bedouin people who live nearby and inviting them even into your home and exchange with them. And now it's not always positive. I mean, we hear the negativity, but you're saying that you've had this incident of destruction. Was there any reaction from the Bedouin, like any apology or any explanation?
Uh, no, um, for me as Eden, as a mother, it's not easy because when my kid is almost 16 years old, came at that night and was so mad and so, I can understand it. It's hard and it's very scary. And for me as Eden, from one hand, I said, okay, you're right. This is not okay. And let's be Orla Goim. Let's be light to the other people, and don't act like them. Let's show them the opposite way. That there's lots of way to act, to build, to um, to do positivity actions, as you said. But from the other side, I said, uh, okay. From one hand, I mad and disappointed, but from the other hand, I also can understand what they're going through. I mean, this is not okay to act like that, but I'm not expecting for apologize. The gap is so big between us,
Mm,
unfortunately, and it's depends on them not more than I mean it's it's a choice how to live and how to act, and we don't want to be part of it. We want to choose a different way.
not just the Bedouin that live near you, but you're terrifyingly close to the events that began in Gaza, and the missiles that were launched from Iran. As a mother, how has this war changed the way you view the neighbors? So not just the ones that are close by, but B'nai Dod, that are surrounding your home and the security of your children.
um I have to say that it's changed a little bit, but in a meaningful way, because I never thought it's that they can be partners. I mean, you know what? At October 7th, I don't know if you heard, but people who live in Gaza strips, one of the kibbutzim, I think it was Be'eri, they had a kite morning. You know, they have a fifon, like kite, right?
Mm-hmm.
They planned a morning with people from the kibbutz and from Gaza, not from Gaza. The people from the kibbutz having a kite in the sky, and that was they do it every year, and it's a sign of let's live together. We can live in peace, and it's unbelievable that in that morning happened what happened. And that morning was September 7th. Families. People talked about how in their living room was a kite, a beautiful kite, and they worked so hard about it. And for me, it's I hear that, and I said, I never thought they can be partners. We can live together. It just doesn't work. Historically, you see, years ago, um, my mom, by the way, my mom, when she was a child, they used to do shopping for Shabbat and all what they needed. They used to go to Gaza, and her dad was chaklai, was um,
Farmer?
a farmer, and all his employers were from Gaza. But they came back and forth uh, in a way I can't even imagine. But this is not it. This is now its work right now, and especially not since October 7th. And as I said, I changed a little bit because now I see that it changed because if we used to be as a IDF, Israelis, we used to take it more patient, and we don't want to injure any civilians. I don't think that we should, but now I feel like we have to do all we can do to make sure people up in the north and down here in the south will be able to live their life quietly and in safe. This is clear to me, and I feel that it's not only me. You can see all the actions that we do as an army. Is that I think it's because we understand that we should do what we should do. If people, if they want to um, injure us and kill us, we have to blame it as strong as it will be. I don't want to say things that not politically correct, but you asked if it's changed, so yeah, I understand it more than ever. What
It's
we had
clear.
in the past 2.5 years, it's
We're
terrible.
it seems like we're dealing with a lot of people think it's a clash between between people Arabs who call themselves Palestinians and Jews who call themselves Israelis. I think it's more of a clash between civilizations, religious civilizations, namely between Islam, sorry to say this, but the majority of whom in this region do not value human life and want to do whatever it takes in order to conquer and to subjugate shibud, like the people around them. And the Jews who value human life, you have two different kinds of values. At the same time, you have people who just want to be left alone on a very, very small strip of land, and you have others that can't tolerate anyone who's not Muslim living
Uh-huh.
anywhere, especially in the
Exactly.
Middle East. It's
Hmm.
a very frustrating reality, and Westerners, I think, do not see that at all. They want to think that all people have the same values, but there are many people who are anxious to give up their lives in order for a religious value. And I would say that Jews are not among those people. Jews are not anxious to give up their lives. We're anxious to live and to be well and to prosper and to help the world that we live in, not to get to the next world where we're no longer in this world of the living. You know,
Mamash, that's true.
I, I would say along those lines, Ed, and knowing you, you are not only just somebody who values this world and wants to live in this world, but you're a community builder. How are the women of your community holding each other up right now? And where do you find the strength to be a source of light for your children when the sirens go off?
Wow, it's a big question. First of all, we're still in the situation. Like we don't feel that it's over, and we over it. But and I think when it's like the morning I told you about, when something happened, you immediately get the strength, get the koach uh, to inspire, to influence, to be active um, for your life, for your family, for your community life, and yeah, it's really unbelievable. I don't think I have an answer for that, because it's something that sometimes you see. I see. I don't believe that it's really us in the story, but I think that the feeling of being together and helping each other give a lot of strength. And as I said, the fact that we are part of this Israeli history, and we part of this historical time. It gave me strength. It's something that you say that we don't want to see. We don't want to look back, but actually, when I look back, I get the resilience. I get the koach, because I said, okay, people before me gave so much to Israel, to our
The cause.
generation after generation, yeah, to our culture, and I'm part of it, so have to be strong. And it's funny because in my career, in my job, I meet a lot of parents that right now come and ask about their infants, like 2, 3 years old, who've been through the siren and the tough time here in Israel, and we try to take care of the behavior that changed, the sleeping and eating routine that got changed, and it's unbelievable because as a parents, as adults, we want to chick-chack, to switch and get back to life. Okay, everything needs to be good now, and it's all regular and all karagil, but it's not. I think my job is always to remind myself and the parents I meet that something happened, something still happening, and kids, little kids, feel that, and we have to see how we support them, how we sometimes support ourselves. Sometimes we as a parents don't have the ability, the capacity to handle it. So what gives us strength, I think it's the matara, the goal that we do all this for Israel, for our country, for the people of Israel. We have to be strong. There's no other way. I mean, it's not a choice to live and go. Mamash lo, definitely not. We here and we stand all together, and we have to do it for the people that gave their life for us.
That's a lot to hold. I'm curious, how do your sons process all of this? And is that something you talk about?
With my sons, you mean?
Yes. Would they
Yeah,
would they have a similar answer, or do they have a different story?
they
And how
even
do they
more
how
strict for me.
really? How do they
Yeah.
process all of this?
Look, sometimes kids, they not show what's happening inside them.
It's true.
Maybe I should ask them more, strict. How do they feel? But it's interesting because I don't know if you remember, but Be'eri, our oldest son, celebrated his bar mitzvah on October 7th on Shabbat Simchat Torah, which he didn't really celebrate, of course. And now Yogev had a bar mitzvah, and the week after we had the attack from Iran. So we were nervous about how, if it's going to happen, and like it can't be 2 times in one family. I mean, but I think it's everything about what story you tells to your kids. I mean, of course they have experience, they feel emotions. We're talking about being afraid and worry and all this stuff, of course, but still, I want to build a narrative, a story for them that they give something. I mean, we have ikar and tefel. We have what really important, and chashuv, and what important, that the lesson, that the most important lesson they get, because it's it's not easy when Abba leave to reserve service, and it's not easy when you need to give up on your bar mitzvah party. It is not easy, but you still say think that you're alive and you have family and safe place to be, and you're part of something very big. And you know what? They might not understand it now, but for years from now, they definitely can tell that they gave something. They sacrifice. It's a hard word, but yeah, they sacrificed something for, hopefully, Bezrat Hashem, for Chaim Tovim, for good life, for a whole um, for Israel, um,
And
in
maybe
a
even for the world. Maybe
life.
even for
Yeah,
the world.
maybe.
You know, Ed, and many of our listeners here in the United States are feeling isolated, afraid, and heartbroken. From your home in the Negev in the southern part of Israel, what is your message to the Jewish people in the diaspora?
It's funny because I don't feel we have a different experience. I think that we all in the same. We all together. In fact, I remember a week after October 7th, I talked to a family from Chicago, and they told me about how scary they are in Chicago. And that was a moment I said, okay, it's not Israel's story. It's the Jewish people's story all over the world. So what message I want to give first? Toda. We feel we're not in the same place, but we feel the support, and we get strength, we get koach from the Jewish people all over the world. That's definitely, I can tell. A friend of mine who made Aliyah and live in Tel Aviv now, came a week before the first Iran attack that we had in May. And whenever I talk to her, I feel like she gave me the koach. I want to thank her of supporting by coming here, and uh, we feel the support. And I think we have to continue to support each other and go through this beyachad, together, with strength, with belief, with emunah, that Be'ezrat Hashem, the end of the story will be good, and ונשוב לארץ ישראל בשמחה.
So return to the land of Israel with happiness.
Yeah, amen.
Beyond the military battles, what does a beautiful truth or a victory look like for your family and for the people of Israel and for Klal Yisrael?
First of all, having the hostages back to Israel is a victory. Watching all the people who go to the reserve service, no matter what career they have, no matter how many children they have. Hannah Senesh said, קרא לי, אז הלכתי כי קרא לי הכל. The voice called me. I think I tried to translate it. The voice called me, so I went. I went because I got called, because it's not a question. People need me, I'm coming. And um and this is a victory, I think. 2026, when we used to say, "Oh, it's the TikTok generation," right? Young people who don't really care. This is so not true. We all keep watching that it's they improve us, how Israel is important to them, how fighting to their life, to the Israeli people life, it's important to them, and that's amazing. It's a lot. And also to see our soldiers get strength, Israel succeed, right? In so many ways. So it's a lot
It's
of
another victory.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Eden Achituv, thank you so much for coming on the Rabbi Avi show and for sharing from your heart. You are an inspiration. Your husband, your children. We pray for you all and for Klal Yisrael, for Medinat Yisrael, for Ezrachim, all the citizens who are
Amen.
fighting and using all of their strength. And we pray that we will get to an even stronger and better chapter, and a chapter of peace, not just for our people, but for all people.
Amen. Thank you, Rabbi Avi. It was an honor. I have to say that when you invited me to come, I was thinking we're such a regular family, we live in our regular life. But it was important for you to hear and to ask about our life here, and I appreciate it. It gave us a lot. Thank you so much.
My friends, what we heard today from Eden is the truth on the ground that so rarely makes it into the global headlines. It's the story of a family whose roots go back generations through Morocco, Tunisia, and Syria. People who didn't return to the land of Israel to colonize, but to finally come home. It's the story of a community that responds to destruction by planting trees and building roads. As Eden said, when the voice calls, we go. Whether we are in the Negev or in the diaspora, we are all in the same boat, keeping that flame alive together. This conversation is a part of our ongoing mission at Horizontal Media to bring you the stories that define our people and our destiny. If this episode moved you, please consider supporting us. Recommend us. Your contributions at patreon.com/horizontal media help us continue to bridge the distance between our communities and share these vital perspectives. I'm Rabbi Avi, and I'm so grateful you joined us today. Until next time, may we all find the strength to be a light, and may we hear only good news from the land of Israel. Shalom.